So I'm Tim at Southern Stars, and in this video we're going to talk about how to use SkySafari to connect to and control two of the most common telescopes on the market today, a Celestron NexStar and a Meade AutoStar. We'll start with our Celestron here since this is a slightly more common brand. The first question is, what do you need to actually control the telescope from your iPhone? Well, obviously you need the iPhone or iPad or iPod Touch itself. You'll need the telescope. And you'll also need one of our two solutions for communicating with the telescope. We have both a wired and a wireless solution. Our wired solution is called SkyWire. It's the simpler and less expensive of the two solutions. Our wireless solution is called SkyFi, and we'll get to that in the second part of this video here. So let's start with SkyWire. As you'll see here, SkyWire has a 30-pin iPhone dock connector on one end. On the other end, it has a PC-style serial port with a DB9 connector. This is the only standard in this whole RS-232 serial world. It's the same connector that you find as the serial port on the back of your PC. Well, neither Celestron nor Meade nor any of the other common telescope manufacturers use a PC-style serial port. Instead, most of them use a small telephone-style jack. So you'll also need an adapter cable that connects the telephone-style serial port on your telescope to the PC-style serial port on SkyWire. Many people wonder if their Celestron telescope is compatible with our equipment. Well, if your Celestron telescope has a standard NexStar hand controller, look at the bottom of the controller. This is where the serial port is located on all Celestron telescopes. If you see a small telephone-style connector at the base of your NexStar controller, you've got what you need. So let's connect our Celestron serial cable to that port on the bottom of the telescope. And then we're going to connect the other end, the PC serial port end of the Celestron cable, to the equivalent serial port on our SkyWire. And then we're going to plug the iPhone connector end of the SkyWire into our iPhone here. So if the iPhone has successfully detected the SkyWire, you should see a pop-up saying SkyWire has been detected. Everything's working here, so we're going to tap OK. So our next step is to go into the SkySafari application settings and select the correct telescope type. So to do that, we'll go to Settings, Scope Communication, Scope Type, and we have a Celestron NexStar 5i here, so let's pick Celestron NexStar 5i, tap Done. Now we're going to bring up our scope controls and tap Connect. So that noise and the small blue bullseye here indicate that the scope is now talking to the iPhone through SkySafari here and through our SkyWire cable. So what I can do is use our arrow keys to move left and right, north or south. I can tap on an object on the screen, say, well, we've got Neptune over here. And we'll tap Go To. And now SkySafari is sending Neptune's coordinates in the sky over the cable to the Celestron telescope. To use this stuff outdoors in reality, there's one additional step you need to take, which is to star align your telescope before you've connected all this stuff. Obviously, we're working indoors here inside a room, so we're not really pointing at Neptune. To make this actually work outdoors, you'd want to go through the star alignment procedure on your NexStar hand controller first. That ensures that the coordinates that go back and forth over this cable are actually the correct coordinates of Neptune or whatever else you want to be looking at in the sky. So I'd like to talk briefly a little bit about the SkyWatcher SynScan controller. This is the hand controller used on the Orion Sirius, the Orion Atlas, and the SkyWatcher family of mounts. It's the same controller. It's very similar to the Celestron NexStar hand controller. There's a cord that runs directly to the Orion or SkyWatcher mount base. And you connect it to SkyWire exactly the same way as you use the Celestron controller. Again, every telescope manufacturer has its own serial format. So this is the Orion or SkyWatcher SynScan serial cable. It's got a 6-pin telephone connector on one end. On the other end, it has a standard PC DB9 serial connector. And you'd connect that to SkyWire the same way you'd connect the Celestron. Similar, different equipment, but very similar concepts. So that's a brief overview of how to use SkySafari and SkyWire to talk to a Celestron telescope. In our next video, we're going to talk about how to use our wireless solution, SkyFi, to control a Meade ETX, which is another very common kind of telescope.